All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. We got breaking news. The Jimmy Butler saga is finally over. The Miami Heat are trading Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors in a 4-team deal. We're going to talk all about it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. We have said a lot. Links my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Jimmy Butler saga in Miami is finally over. After 2-3 months of all this going down, we finally have a resolution. It looked like Jimmy was not getting traded. They put out a statement yesterday basically saying like, hey, if nothing happens, we can put all this behind us and we're just gonna get back to work. We've been training, all that stuff. We're ready to come back to Miami. All this stuff going down with the Phoenix thing kind of breaking down little by little, with Bradley Beal not wanting to go anywhere. And now we finally got it. The Golden State Warriors give in, and they are the ones that win the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes. And now this is all kind of thrown under the table. It officially ends up being a 4-team trade. I have details right here. I think this is the full details. I don't know if that's 100% for sure because there's some mix-ups and stuff involved. But the official 4-team deal is the Golden State Warriors are getting Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler is also signing a 2-year, $121 million max contract extension with Golden State. Anywhere he wanted to go to, he said, I need my money too. Earlier, I think yesterday, the day before, there's reports saying he did not want to go to the Warriors because he did not think they were going to pay him this money. Anywhere he wanted to go to, he wanted a guarantee, I'm getting my money. That's why Phoenix was on the board, because Phoenix was a team that it kind of leaked already that they were going to give him the money. But Golden State ends up giving him an extension. The Miami Heat are getting Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, Kyle Anderson, and a 2025 top 10 protected first round pick. The Detroit Pistons are in this trade. They get Lindy Waters a third, Josh Richardson, and a second round pick. And the Utah Jazz get involved and get Dennis Schroeder and a 2032 second round pick. That is the full details of the trade. Originally, it was supposed to be a 5-team deal with Toronto involved, but then that kind of broke down. And there's wondering how is Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson was supposed to go to Toronto, but then they're like, okay, now they're not in what's going there. So Kyle Anderson is going to stay in Miami. But yeah, the trade is done. Jimmy Butler is no longer a member of Miami. He's a member of the Golden State Warriors. To talk about it from that perspective first. For the Golden State Warriors, we all know that it was getting desperation time for Golden State. Kind of on the outside looking into the plan, things not looking great, and aging Steph Curry and Draymond Green. And the entire talk of the season was, are they going to go all in? You know, they need another guy. Because we've seen it this year. Steph Curry doesn't look like he's at the peak of his powers right now because the roster around him is just not good enough in the Western Conference to compete. When you have a 36-year-old Steph Curry, a guy that is still an all NBA level player at this age, you know, has done so much for your franchise, you owe it to him to give him one more shot, not let him go out like as just a, I don't know, 10 seed, 9 seed type of teams in the last couple of years of his career. And you end up getting Jimmy Butler. You know, Kevin Durant looked like he was going to be on the table, but then that fell apart with KD not wanting to go back to Golden State. So eventually it ends up being Jimmy that ends up in Golden State. And for the Warriors, I mean, it kind of is like a, we have to do this type of deal. Like, Jimmy Butler is the best player available right now in the market. He's an all-star level player. We know we can do come playoff time and when it comes to big moments, Jimmy Butler's a part of that. And having a guy like Jimmy that can take the pressure off of Steph, and having another all-star, all-NBA when he really feels like it type of player to add to this team is what Golden State desperately needed. Needed another guy, and they ended up getting Jimmy Butler, and they also signed him to the extension. That was the big question. Like, is Jimmy going to sign the extension? Is this just like a 1-year rental deal for this year? But Jimmy gets his money. So that means the Warriors are going all in on Jimmy, saying this is the guy, kind of not a nod to kind of Steph and them being like, hey, you know what? We're going to give you the chance to compete. Where everyone thought it was kind of over. The Warriors are just going to go out. This is what they're going to do. And whatever happens, happens. Maybe Steph could put on some amazing performances, you know? But they end up getting Jimmy Butler, and it's kind of the front office showing Steph, hey, we're going to give you one more shot at this. And now Jimmy is signed for the next 2 years. Same with Steph Curry. I think also has 2 years after the deal through 2027 and all that. So the next 3 years is the window for hopefully one last hurrah for Golden State. And they get Jimmy, you know, not giving up anything super amazing. are super crazy. I mean, Andrew Wiggins has been probably their second best player this year, but now you get Jimmy Butler in there, and just kind of like a necessary, they had to do this type of move. The last 24 hours, they've basically been calling around the NBA to every single All Star player available, say, hey, is he available? Is he available? We just need somebody in here. And they end up getting Jimmy Butler. They kind of sacrifice, not sacrifice, but they kind of give in and say, you know what, we need you so bad. I expect that's what the conversation went. Because at first, again, it was like Jimmy Butler was blocking, didn't want to go to Golden State because he thought they're not going to pay me. So maybe he found out in a way. Maybe Golden State said, hey, you know what? We're still desperate enough. We'll pay you. We'll give you the money. We'll give you everything. We just need him in Golden State. And that's how he ends up in there. So Jimmy is a warrior. Very interested to see how that goes. I'm sure Jimmy's healthy and ready to go, ready to play, finally play some basketball again, meaningful basketball again. And I hope he goes over there and has a big year for Golden State. For the other teams, Miami Heat. The Jimmy era is over. And more than just trading Jimmy and getting these players back, just having that cloud off your team. You know, the last 2 months it's been getting uglier and uglier and uglier as the days went on. And just having that cloud over the team where Miami, like, the only, you can not really think about it, but anything else. We think about the Miami Heat, talk about the Miami Heat, you had to bring up Jimmy Butler, had to bring up the situation no matter what was going on. And it was just like a big cloud over this team of what's going to happen next. Are they going to trade Jimmy? How do the teammates feel about Jimmy? Is he staying on the team for the rest of the season? What's going to happen? What are they going to get for him? What do they want? Now that finally it's just like a weight lift off your shoulders, you can breathe again. And okay, let's focus on these last 30 something games left. But in terms of the packages you actually got, you get back Andrew Wiggins, who has been having a really good season in Golden State so far, and he can slide right in as your starting three. You're also getting back PJ Tucker, who has not played this year, but I'm sure he's probably in shape and ready. And someone that's already been on Miami before a couple years ago, another veteran wing that can help you in the playoffs. And then Kyle Anderson, they didn't want him at first, but I guess, I mean, Kyle Anderson, not a horrible basketball player, high IQ basketball player, could play both ends. So just getting some more forward depth, get a guy like Andrew Wiggins who can come in immediately and complement them as a starter. Very interested to see how he works in the Miami Heat system in terms of, how Heat culture is over there. See how Andrew Wiggins fits in, you know. But I think for Miami, this is not a bad deal at all. You get three playoff ready or veteran guys that have been there before and know what it takes, and that's what Miami wanted. They said they wanted win now players. They still want to compete with Tyler Hero and Bam as the starting as the nucleus, and they get three guys that can complement that nucleus right there. So I don't think it's a bad trade. They also get a protected first round pick next year that's top 10 protected for Golden State. So basically, meaning if Golden State gets to the play-in, which it looks like maybe likely with Jimmy Butler now, but then again, who knows in the Western Conference, that Miami might get an extra first round pick this year. So that's cool. And if it doesn't convey this year, then it'll just be an unprotected pick next year. So either way, they're probably getting a first round pick either this year or next year for Miami. So I think for Miami, it's a solid trade. They didn't want superstar. They knew they weren't going to get back 4 first round picks or a young star or anything like that. They just wanted win now players that can compete and kind of more than anything get this cloud out and clear the skies a little bit. And they do that with this trade. And then other teams, Detroit has just been a team has a lot of salary and taking on salary, helping facilitate trades. Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson, a veteran wing that come in. Lindy Waters is a shooter. So, maybe you see that. And they also get a second round pick also. So that's cool. And then Utah, of course, Danny Ainge finds a way always to slip in and get something out of it. They come in, they get Dennis Schroeder, and they get a 2032 second round pick. Now, Dennis Schroeder, most likely, he's probably going to get bought out. Dennis Schroeder, today was actually the day, that his trade thing was lifted. So now he's available for trade again, and it ends up, if they want to make any trade work, they would have to use his salary. And he goes to Utah. He's probably going to get bought out, and now he's probably going to go to a playoff team over there. So yeah, by the end of the day, Jimmy Butler, this era, the saga is finally over after what feels like years of us waiting and being like, okay, can we end this situation? Like, when is this ever going to end? Get him to Phoenix already. He does get traded, but he ends up in Golden State with the Warriors. Him, Steph, and Dre now is a new big three. Apparently, he's wearing number 10, where I just got reports from. And yeah, very excited to see how Golden State looks now with Jimmy in there, with that system, getting another star. Very interested for Miami, too. Very interested for Miami to see, is this the only move they do? Maybe they make another move. Honestly, with Toronto, because Toronto was supposed to be part of the deal. When Toronto first got named as the team of the deal, I thought they were getting Bruce Brown. Like, there's been links to Bruce Brown, Miami for a little while. I thought Bruce Brown was going to be involved in this trade, but apparently no Toronto anymore. But they still walk away with 3 very solid wings and a first round pick. So very interesting to see how Miami looks and if Miami makes another move. Also, if Golden State maybe could make another move with Buddy Hield's contract, Gary Payton's set contract, Kevon Looney's contract. Golden State can definitely go out and make another move that can help their team, which I think will definitely be needed. You know, giving up a little bit of depth here with this trade. But yeah, man, trade deadline keeps on going. Also, by the way, I said in my earlier video when I talked about Chris Middleton getting traded for Kyle Kuzma, we're going to be live here on the channel, 1 p.m. Eastern for the NBA trade deadline. Live on the channel. We'll be live reacting, live breaking down, live grading all of the trades that happen on the NBA trade deadline tomorrow, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're around, you know, and you want to get caught up on the trade deadline and just need something to, you know, listen to all the trades come through, because we're going to be talking about every single trade that comes through, even if it's a small trade, we're going to talk about it. So come through, you know, be on the channel right here, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be breaking down the trade deadline, so come through if you're around. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.